I am at the far east end of the Border Route Trail. It's time to finish this thing up. Good morning, friends. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Rob Pelton, and if you're new here, I do a lot of backpacking videos, gear reviews, outdoor adventure stuff. So if that's your bag, thanks for stopping by. This morning, I am at the northern terminus of the Superior Hiking Trail. And this meets up with the Border Route Trail, and it goes west like 65 miles. Last year, I did the first 50 miles of this trail, but I started on the west end and walked east, and I had to bail out at McFarland campsite last year. So last night, I drove all the way up here, 5 hours in the dark, and camped at McFarland campsite last night, slept in the car. And then this morning, we trekked out to the end point, and now we get to walk 12 miles back to McFarland. So this completes my Border Route Trail hike. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? That makes sense, right? So the spur trail that we're on leads to the 270 overlook, which is the Superior Hiking Trail northern terminus. So the Superior Hiking Trail kind of spits you out on Otter Lake Road. Then you walk up Otter Lake Road for a little bit to get to this trailhead. But all the SHT hikers northbound, they finish here, and that's awesome. But if you're feeling a little bit more adventurous, if you're coming northbound, is you can go right past the northern terminus and just continue on the Border Route Trail. A little bit of trail geography. And I'm going to get some of this wrong, but I'll put notes right over here. There is a trail that starts in like New Hampshire or Vermont, something like that. And it runs like 3,000 miles or something from there all the way into North Dakota. It's called the North Country Trail. And it's long and it's epic. Now, that trail is broken up into segments. For instance, in Wisconsin, their long trail is called the Ice Age Trail, but that Ice Age Trail segment is part of the bigger North Country Trail. Once you get into Minnesota, the North Country Trail snakes through Minnesota, but within that section, you have the Superior Hiking Trail, the Border Route Trail. After this is the Kekakovik Trail, and it just keeps heading west. But all of those sections are still part of the bigger North Country Trail. One thing about the Border Route Trail, it's in the Boundary Waters canoe area. So all the trails in the Boundary Waters, they're much less used than like the Superior Hiking Trail. So which means the trails get a little overgrown a little faster. And then since it rained pretty much all day yesterday and last night up here, everything is wet. And there's been no one by to help knock the moisture off of all the vegetation. So my lower half is just soaked. And I don't want to continue that trend, so I brought rain gear pants because I'm super smart. There hasn't been much for views so far. A lot of people think, the trails up here, it's all just green tunnel. But there are some spectacular views on the Border Route Trail, especially of the parts that I did last year. But there are hints of views in this section as well. Check this out. It's 11:30 and we had a mile hike up to the 270 split, and then we're another 2 miles in, so we're only like 3 miles in for the day. We got 12 to go. It's cool out. It's, probably 60 degrees, but it is humid, 80%, 90% humidity. So it's been kind of a slow go. Everything is soaked from not only vegetation moisture, but from sweat as well. And for snacks, got a peanut butter sandwich and a gas station cookie. overgrown madness up in here. So we're pretty much soaked from the waist down. And good thing brought the rain pants, brought a long sleeve shirt, because I mean everything.
Rain pants with a collar.
Yeah, and everything is just rubbing against us. I mean, John has a short sleeve shirt on, so you know, I'm sure everything is whipping his arms. And it's still humid. It's starting to warm up. So yeah, it's a moist day. Say it with me, kids. Moist. Well, 1:30. We're about 5 miles in. So obviously this is not a speed hike, but this is Portage Brook campsite. It's a very, very old campsite, complete with a picnic table and a little concrete fire ring over there. But it's right on the trail. The trail goes right through here. But I think this is a good place to maybe try to dry off a little bit and get a little bit more food in the old belly. I'm joined on this trip by my buddy Swag over here. He's got his own YouTube channel. He's done a lot of Superior hiking trail videos. And more recently, you know, he's been to Isle Royale, been doing a lot of Colorado stuff. So check out his channel if you want to see his version of this trip. Tell them where they can find you.
Find me at Swag on the Trail 82.
And I'll put that right over here so you can check it out. Also, the link to his channel in the video description of this video. So back when I said this trail isn't used very much, I don't think there's been a truer statement made today. The only thing that seems to be used in this trail right now are moose. So I know there's been, you know, a lot of overgrowth, but there's a lot of blowdowns too. We've walked through and around a bunch of blowdowns, and a lot of these, I don't know if they're from this year, but they're right on the trail. And that just lends to the ruggedness of Boundary Waters trails. But there is a volunteer crew that goes around to all the Boundary Water trails and you know, clears them. You know, sometimes they get to sections really early and then they get overgrown by the end of the season. But to those crews who actually do come out here, thank you.
On my ears.
That's a lot of blue. Guess what Swag's favorite song is? I'm blue and da ba dee ba da da. Just to recap, we're on the BRT, also known as the Border Route Trail. Why is it called the Border Route Trail? Because it borders Canada, Minnesota, Pigeon River, Canada. So if you give me a few seconds, I'm gonna throw a rock into Canada. It's definitely warming up and drying out, which is nice. The fact that I'm soaked from underneath, probably from sweat at this point. No need to keep the rain pants on. We're just a couple of miles out from McFarland Lake Camp. It's been an interesting section. The first 12 miles of the Border Route Trail heading west are fairly uneventful. A couple of views, but mostly just overgrown green tunnel. So definitely not one of my favorite hikes, not one of my favorite trail sections. So, you know, I probably won't come back to this particular segment again because, I mean, it was kind of meh, but from McFarland west, the views start getting better and it starts getting, you know, pretty sweet. This section was challenging. There was some elevation, nothing crazy, but then again, just all overgrowth and green tunnel and lots of and lots of down trees. All right, the border route trail is complete for me. 12.6 miles today. It took a little longer. We weren't in a real hurry, and now it's actually starting to rain a little bit. So thank you. I appreciate it. There's nobody over there, but thanks for coming along. This is awesome. Now, camp and food. I want to thank you for coming along on this border route trail adventure, even though, like I said before, it was fairly uneventful, but I'm glad I got it done. Now, this was his first section of the BRT, which means John gets to start this process for him. So hopefully he enjoys it. And if you have any questions about this hike or any of the trails in the Boundary Waters or the Superior Hiking Trail, or just for me in general, you know, leave those questions and comments down in the comment area below. Otherwise, like I said, I appreciate you stopping by. If you haven't already and you found any value or entertainment in this video, consider subscribing, because there's all kinds of videos like this happening. Anyways, get outside, find your own adventure, and enjoy this big, beautiful world.